Namaskar. Every great journey begins not with a step, but with a thought to rise above confusion and find clarity. This November, begin your journey at Talks in Mumbai on Bhagavad Gita Chapter 1, The Battle Within by Jaya. 26 to 29th November, daily 6:30 to 8 p.m. Join us to transform how you live, think, and act. If you're in Mumbai, be part of this experience. Register for free today. Outside Mumbai, share the joy. Invite someone who needs this light. Join the WhatsApp community through the link in the description to stay connected and inspired. Now, let us continue with Bhagavad Gita Chapter 5.
सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
We had completed up to verse 10 of chapter 5. We'll continue now with 11.
कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये. कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये.
Relinquishing attachment. The yogis, practitioners of yoga, act with the senses, body, mind, and intellect only for self-purification. So, verses 8 and 9, which we did last time, define or tell us how a jnani relates to action. So, he is 100% objective. While the body, mind, and intellect are interacting with the world, he is attuned to Atman. So, he says, all that goes on, but I am different from it. So, that is objectivity, like an actor on stage knows he is the actor, he never loses sight of it, while he is playing various roles. Then comes verse 10, where he describes a sannyasi. A sannyasi has not yet reached the state of realization, but the first two words of that verse itself convey his personality. It says, Brahmani adhaya, means resting in Brahman. So, his entire personality is geared towards just Brahman. Whatever else happens. And he lives life, he acts with the body, mind, intellect, etc. But the world does not impact on him, and that verse gives the example of a lotus leaf in water. It's a brilliant example. Because the lotus leaf, if you've seen it, it is usually in murky water, dirty water. It's born in that dirty water, it lives in that water and it dies in it. But right through its life, it is untouched by the water. It doesn't become wet. We live like blotting paper. Wherever we go, we are absorbing, taking it in. So we get affected by the surroundings. So 8 and 9, Jnani is established in Brahman. So he says, I do nothing at all. I means Atman. In 10, Sannyasi, he is not yet reached Brahman, but his entire being is resting in Brahman. That's all that he wants. You know, in this recent World Cup match that India won, the women's World Cup match, they spoke of an incredible thing. So there's this girl called Shefali Verma, right, who was dropped from the team. So there was no hope of her playing. But every practice session she was there. Every day she was there. She participated as if she was a member of the team. And what happened? Their prime player fell down and she was sitting in a wheelchair. So they called her. Now, if Shefali had not been practicing, had not been totally fit and ready to play, she would not have been able to play the role that she played. She played a stellar role in the win. So a sannyasi is like that. He's not yet reached there. It's like being dropped from the team. But you do everything as if you were there. So that is the sannyasi, which is why he lives like a lotus leaf in water. Nothing that goes on affects him. And we must try and practice that, you know. That's why I gave the example of this girl, Shefali. Because if I talk of sannyasi, you will say, sannyasi is different. But here is a girl who is playing cricket. So whatever it is that you are dedicated to, whatever be your goal, whether you are selected or not, whether you are in it or not, you do your bit as if you were in it. So a sannyasi acts as if he were already realized. So he is objective, but barring the fact that he is not yet realized, he wants to get there. He wants to serve the Guru through whose blessing he has reached this level. And he wants to serve the world. Other than this, he is not interested. Now, verse 11 speaks of a yogi. A yogi is one who's still got lots of desires for the world. He is not like the sannyasi whose attention is only on Brahman. Then why does he act? For self-purification. See, many of us are at this stage. We still have desires for the world, we still want things of the world, but we have at least risen to the level where we want to become better human beings. At least that should be there, no? So there should be an awareness of yourself, your shortcomings, your faults, your whatever, maybe impatience, whatever. But we are not aware of our own shortcomings. Why? Because we are so sharp when it comes to picking other people's faults. Even as you hear certain ideas here, you will say, oh, this applies to my mother-in-law, this applies to my husband or wife, this applies to my boss. Never do we say that this is my fault, this is something that I have. And a person who has the courage to accept at least to oneself, you don't have to go advertising it to the world. Within yourself, you know you have this defect, this shortcoming, this fault. There must be that mumukshatva, the desire to break free from this. I'm not happy the way I am. I want to become a better person. Then you will get there. Otherwise, your study of the Bhagavad Gita will be very theoretical. You will say, okay, chapter 5, now what next? Chapter 6. It's not about that. And that is why if your attitude is that you want to purify yourself, then you will find every verse exhilarating, every verse coming alive to you, and you will find pleasure in the study. I was listening to a podcast by two Americans who've changed their names. They've given themselves Indian names. One is Kaustubh and the other is something else. And how well they presented, it's like a conversation, they're talking to each other. And they were talking about how in the West, particularly in the United States, there is this total dependence on getting objects of desire from the world. And it remains there. So whether you're a 70-year-old or a 15-year-old, it's the same thing. You want objects from the world and more and more. Whereas they were saying in India, in the East, Eastern philosophies, it is about finer things, subtler things, higher things, which the whole system is geared to right from childhood. And they said it, which is true. When you think of entertainment now, because we are all brainwashed by the Western model, what do you think of? You want to take your family out for some entertainment. What do you think of? Going to Disney, Epcot Center, New York, San Francisco. You are not even content with the Indian places. You want to go abroad. Milan, Paris, so on and so forth. In ancient times, in India, and this is what they said, entertainment revolved around festivals, temples. So that's what he was saying. All Indian festivals are joyous festivals because all the entertainment was geared around festivals. And everyone knew the story behind it, what it meant. And then there was joy, there was laughter, there was togetherness, there was food, there was song, dance, all sorts of things. But it was all under the umbrella of God. And that made the difference. Whereas today, for entertainment, even during festivals, what are you doing? Moving away. That is the tragedy. And this, who is saying it? To Americans. So it's not, see, in India, interest in these things is increasing. But for what? Recitation, chanting, namasmaran, and that is also entertainment. So you go and there are huge audiences, all paying minimum 5,000 rupees for a seat to be there. Packed audiences. And here for the Bhagavad Gita lectures, we are offering it free, and we are telling you, please invite people. Among the class members, there is only one person who's done it right here. Put your hand up. Only one person. He's put up posters in a library. Where else? NCPA. So he's taken the trouble of doing all this. No? If all of us were to do it, I'm not asking you to drive to places, I'm not asking, within your home, within your environment, can you not do this? It doesn't cost money. And say, give out invitation cards. And if, okay, the hard copy you don't want to give, at least on WhatsApp send it. But you will not do it. It's like trying to get a buffalo to move. Just not happening. Have you tried that? Have you seen a buffalo? Sits in one place, he will not move. That is our condition. So, when you lighten up a bit, give yourself a little bit of energy for something beyond yourself, something more than just food, your entertainment, your job, your money. Beyond that, do something for God's sake. Because we are in dire straits. We are under attack. The whole country is under attack from various sources, various people, because they can't accept the fact that we are doing well. So they want to pull us down. They want a government change, and this is what they do across the world. This is what they've done in Venezuela for the last 30 years. Which is why Venezuela is in such a bad shape. Why should they be like that? They've got reserves that can make them the richest country. And they want weak puppets there. In all the countries that have merit. And they will destroy that country. So, if we don't want that to happen to us, we must enrich ourselves, right, with good values. Because by default, the human mind goes towards negativity. I saw a video called negativity bias, right? Negativity bias. And it says, let's say teenagers, they go to their friend's birthday party. On the way home, one girl sends a message to her friends that, or posts on social media, it was a great party, thank you, some positive thing. And another friend writes some negative thing, oh, the food was bad and it was boring or whatever. And then they found that on social media, that got more eyes, the negative post. Positive post, nobody looked at it. And now you see the algorithms are all geared towards what? Getting more people to watch for a longer period of time. They should remain there for longer. So they found that is great. Human beings naturally go towards the negative. So we are fighting against an external threat and internal threat. You are fighting against your own mind looking for negativity. So how do you do that? You have to latch on to something positive, something inspiring, something that takes you upward and not downward. Downward is very easy. So that's what he's saying here. The first thing is you must relinquish attachment. Now what is attachment? Attachment comes, the root cause of it is a sense of inadequacy. You feel incomplete within yourself and you need to go out. Like antenna, our thoughts, our mind goes out, latches onto things, ties itself to various objects and beings. And then it feels complete. Those of you who are married, why did you get married? Because before you got married, you felt incomplete. And you thought after marriage you will be complete. I don't want to say what happened after that, you all know. There is more incompleteness. But that is what is driving you. And that is the attachment. So, attachment means you're bound to that person. You're tied to that person. And then you lose your freedom. That is why people say, oh, I can't come to class because it's in the evening. I said, so what? My husband comes home. Let him come. Let him breathe some free oxygen for once a week at least. No. There's a lady who's been married now for 50 years. It's not as if she is newly married. So her school friends invited her to dinner, and her condition was, only when my husband is out of town, I will come. If he is in town, I can't come. Why? I have to be with him. Now, I'm not saying you should go out all the time, but why should you be restricted by somebody? So, what is the way out? How do you get out of attachment? Get attached to something higher, because you can't practice detachment. You are already tied. You can't say, I will not get tied to you. So, how do you do that? Get attached to something higher. And how do you get attached? Constant thinking. How do you get attached to anything? Constant thinking. You know, a simple thing like you're going home, you see a new car, it's just been launched, and you like cars. So you see it and you say, wow, nice car. Up to that, you're okay, you're admiring, you're appreciating a new product. But when you go home, you're constantly thinking of that car. Nice car, nice car, nice car. Before long, you're attached to it. Then what happens? So far, you were happy with your present car. Now, when you're attached to the other car, you're unhappy with what you have. So that's what happens. Here, the yogi is detached. He relinquishes attachment because he is attached to the higher. What is the higher in his case? Self-purification. It's there in the verse. He wants to be a better person. So the moment you have a higher goal, then you're free from attachment. Again, the same match. They were saying that when a player, a batter, scored 50, there was none of that wild celebration that was there with the men. Why? Because when she was interviewed, she said, because my attention was on the team performing well, not on personal milestones. So he said, fine, I've reached 50, but there is more to go to make the team win. Similarly, when she hit 100 also, there was no great celebration. Not that she wasn't happy, but she knew that there is further to go to win the match, to win the trophy. So, in anything, if you have just a touch of the higher, your whole life changes. That's why we say the Bhagavad Gita is not just coming and listening to a talk. When you come here, it gives you, it opens up new possibilities. You take on a new perspective of what? Becoming better than what you are. For which the thought must come in your mind that life is not just what I am doing with myself. Life is not just waking up in the morning, going to work, coming back, maybe going to the club, going whatever, having dinner, going to sleep next day, waking up again. It's like a cow tethered, the cow does the same thing over and over again. What are you doing that is different from what a cow does? You are also doing the same thing. But that energy and dynamism comes when your attention is on something higher. It could be just that you're cooking a meal, not for guests, only the family. But you give your best to it. Then what happens? It comes out delicious. But that is a byproduct. That's not where your attention is. Your attention is just on making the meal, cooking it. And do you know what? That cooking itself is a stress buster. Have you noticed it? You go to work, through the week you may not have time, and on the weekend, on a Sunday morning, you say, "Chalo yaar, let's make a nice meal." And you sit there and put it all together. You feel good. You're not thinking of, will my family appreciate it, will they like it, won't they like it? Then it's a mess. But you just do it for the love of it. And similarly, you should do what your work should be because you love it. So this can happen only when you have a higher perspective. You don't need to change anything about your life. You only need to change your attitude, which is so easy. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't take time. Nothing. It's just one thought. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Just to earn money? Or for my family? Or society? The country? It's amazing that in our culture, whatever you do, we start with a prayer, right? We start with a prayer, we end with a prayer. What do we pray for? Let everybody be healthy. Let everyone, and that includes the people you don't like. You don't say, let the whole world be happy except my in-laws. Nobody prays like that. So your mind automatically expands. Let everyone be happy, everyone be healthy, everyone be at peace, everyone be mangalam. What a beautiful concept it is. And this is linked to other things, like you're doing yoga, you chant this. Before a meal, you chant a prayer. Before you go to sleep, you chant. So it's instilled, it's integrated into our lives, this larger perspective. And in spite of that, how we become so thoroughly, utterly selfish is something Krishna can't understand. So, yogi, his personality is opaque because he still has desires. A sannyasi is translucent. Still he's not yet realized. So translucent means it's not totally transparent, but you can see more or less. A jnani is totally transparent. So when there is transparent glass, you don't look at the glass. Where does your vision go? Through the glass to the heavens above. You see the whole world. With an opaque thing you can't see. It's like Delhi fog. Have you seen pictures of Delhi fog? Flights can't land or take off. Even trains reach late because what can you do when you can't see? Cars can't move slowly. Whereas the spiritual life, or just a touch of the spirit, clears up the fog. And then you can see. See what? Not just the material things. See beyond it. And then you're fascinated by the world itself. Like a simple thing, like the moon. Our planet is the only planet, not everybody, not all planets have moons. And it never occurred to me till I read an article recently. But how valuable the moon is. Without the moon, so many things wouldn't happen. And how is it that only we are blessed with the moon? How is it that the earth is placed at the right distance from the sun so that we get the warmth of the sun? We don't get burned to death. We don't get frozen to death. And for millions of years this has been going on. How is it that the atmospheric air protects us from the harmful radiation that comes from the sun? I mean, there are a million things that we don't know that are in place for us to be healthy, happy, alive. And we're blissfully unaware of it and complain about stupid things. And complain, oh, I don't have a diamond necklace. That's the thing. So, yoginaha, plural. When he refers to the sannyasi, yaha means singular. You know, it's like this. Yogis, there are lots. Bhogi is the maximum. Non-spiritual people. Then yogis are quite a few thousands maybe. By the time you come to the sannyasi, there is a handful. In the whole world, at any given time, there may be 2 or 3. And a jnani, 1. So, just the construction of the sentence conveys the whole thing. But even whether it's a yogi, sannyasi or jnani, the accent here is on action. All three act. It's how you act that is the problem, the difference. Yogi acts for Atma Shuddhi. Then as he works for self-purification, his desires drop. He becomes a sannyasi. Then the sannyasi reflects, thinks, contemplates, meditates and bursts into that state of realization. Next verse.
Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate.
Forsaking the fruit of action, the yukta, united one, gains the ultimate peace. The ayukta, non-united one, is bound, driven by desire and affected by the fruit. So, there are 2 broad categories of human beings. Yukta, united, people moving towards Brahman, towards God. And the ayukta, non-united, who's moving away from God, just in opposite direction. So in this verse, he is talking about both these categories. Yukta, ayukta. Within the yukta, there are three: yogi, sannyasi, jnani. You got it? Bhogi, all one category. So, a bhogi becomes a yogi when he turns inward. So, what is this turning inward? Anything that happens in his life, in our lives, normally, we tend to blame someone, something outside of ourselves. You say, oh, I fell ill because of this unseasonal rain, or I went late to a place because of traffic. These are all indicative of an outward looking mind. The same thing happening to a yogi. The yogi would say, yes, I went late, but I should have calculated better and left earlier. You see the difference? So he is not upset. Otherwise, you get caught in traffic and you are swearing at the traffic, you are getting high blood pressure. But whose fault is it? You knew there was going to be traffic, right? Similarly, rain. It's been raining in the past few days. It will rain. You can't bank on the fact that it will not rain at a time when it's raining. This is wrong assessment. So you become inward looking, but you still have desires for the world. And that is a game changer. So constantly, whatever level, we are all at different levels, it doesn't matter. What matters is the moment your mind goes outward to blame someone, immediately pull back and say, how can I view it differently so that I don't get agitated? You understand? You can't change things that are happening in the world, but you can change your mind, the way you think, in such a way that what is happening no longer affects you. And then you feel victorious. It's like climbing towards Everest, and one major move you've made, one major peak you've overcome in your life. So, therefore, a yogi has several interim goals. He can't conceive Brahman straight away. Sorry. A sannyasi, by the time he gets to a sannyasi, he's almost at the top. He's got only one thing in mind, and that is Brahman.
Sometimes we don't know how to look at the things differently, or we don't have that perspective.
That's why you should study the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, it's true. We don't know what it means to look at it differently. So we all need help. And for a long time I've been saying, study the Bhagavad Gita every day. Get the lectures, audio or video, and listen to them every day, maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is. Because it's the same way, same angle of vision, same way in which it is described or explained, right? And then slowly, it's like that kaleidoscope. Slowly you begin to see things that you did not see earlier, which is that thought comes, maybe the fault is mine. Somebody has an altercation with a servant, somebody has a fight with a wife or husband. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? It's his fault. But as you gain knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, slowly you begin to understand, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I could have said things better or in a different way, communicated this in a better way. That is the starting point of spirituality. A bhogi is becoming a yogi. Without that, it doesn't come. By yourself, how will you get it? So, an artist, a writer, a poet, a sports person who is dedicated to his goal, whatever that goal may be. Lawyer. I knew a lawyer in Kolkata who gave up his practice because he wanted to write a book on the Constitution. And people who are in that field, I don't know anything beyond the spelling of Constitution, but people who are in that field say that he was brilliant, he is no more. Almost at the level of Nani Palkhiwala, constitutional lawyer. So all this was going on in his mind all the time. That's why, see, brilliance comes when there is that concentration of thought. Do you remember chemistry when we studied in the lab, we made crystals of copper sulfate? How did we do it? We took a solution of copper sulfate and concentrated it slowly, bit by bit. You concentrate it, you keep doing it, and then suddenly one moment it's still liquid, next moment brilliant crystals of copper sulfate come. Oh, you feel so triumphant. It's such a wonderful feeling. In the same way, thoughts go on in your mind, and that is why they say you must constantly think, reflect. With this constancy of thought, it gets saturated, your thoughts get saturated, and then suddenly there is a eureka moment in your mind where you say, I see it, I get it. Then there's no going back. And you feel great because you've been struggling with it, you've been thinking about it, where is all that now? No one has the time or the inclination to think. So the reflection is one is the exposure, you must have the knowledge. Then you must think over it. So for every hour you study, it must be followed up with 9 hours of reflection. We don't do that. And for which you must write notes. This is a scientific fact that when you write, it sticks here. If you don't write, it evaporates. Right through my education, I've consumed so many notebooks, right from school onwards. The teacher is teaching, write. You may not even look at what you've written after that because it's stuck. You know it. That's one method. Another is you have to keep thinking, keep reading, keep thinking. Then you get it. See, how many lessons does a teacher dedicate to teaching little toddlers addition? That 2 + 2 is 4. The child doesn't get just like that. So what does the teacher do? Bring 2 apples and 2 pears and put it together and say, how many fruit are there? No, first he has to bring 2 apples and 2 apples. Then 2 apples and 2 pears, the child is gone, doesn't know. I have 4, 5, 6 lessons and finally the child understands. You know 2 + 2, 2 + 3 and you assume, you take it for granted, but how did you learn? It's difficult, no? In the beginning. How did you learn? Constancy. Similarly, how will you know the law of karma? Constancy. How will you become familiar with just the concept of Atman, spirit, something beyond what you know? Constancy. That exposure must be there. And it all starts with what? Society, the norms of society are, whenever you have a celebration, it is around a temple, around a spiritual festival, under the umbrella of God. Whatever you do under the umbrella of God is fine. Because ultimately the thought goes inward. So then you find fulfillment in the action. Result doesn't matter. Like this girl is amazing. She's really inspiring. After being dropped from the team, so there was no hope of her playing in the match. She was there at every practice session. She didn't miss a single one. So what drove her? What motivated her? Just the love of cricket. Not that she should be in the limelight, not that she should be part of the winning team. And in fact, she didn't even know whether the team was going to win or not. Just fulfillment in the action. Do it because you love it. So, you've already got the result, and what external result doesn't make a difference. What difference does it make whether people clap for you or not? What difference does it make whether people appreciate it or not? You've done your best. That's all that matters. So you have to drive past your own barriers, your own stupidity. Yeah. Sorry, if I what?
You say you should not find faults external for external factors. Okay, you should first see your own faults. If you see your own faults and get angry with that.
No, that's a good point. See, this exercise is being done by the intellect. If the mind sees the fault in you, then you feel bad, you cry over it, you feel depressed, all of that happens. But if the intellect is viewing it objectively, understanding that these are the faults I have certain good points, fine. But these are the qualities that are pulling me down and I need to work on it and improve upon it. Then you don't feel bad. Because you understand that there is a way out. It's not just that you have it, there is a way out. It's like, a pimple appears on your face. You don't sit there crying, you know it will go. So, when you are on the path of self-development, you're never depressed. You may be low down, you may not have made progress, it's fine, but you're putting in that effort. So, you have to go past your own negative mindset. This negativity bias that is already there, we are born with it. That research shows that a 10-week-old infant looks at a frowning face much longer than a smiling face. Amazing. So it goes deep into our psyche, this thing. So go beyond the fixers, the manipulators of the world, and establish yourself as a positive person. That's it. Next verse, 13.
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्.
Having renounced all actions by the mind, the self-controlled embodied happily rests in the nine-gated city, neither acting nor even causing to act. So, these verses 13 to 15 define a jnani. What's going on inside him? What kind of a person is he? So, having renounced all actions by the mind, so renunciation is not physical, it's mental. Renunciation is not where you give up things of the world. Renunciation is where you give up that quality in you which is coming in the way of your success. So it's not physical, it's mental. And what do you renounce? Not action. The impediments to action you renounce. What are the impediments to action? Desire, ego. Or desire and attachment. So that is deadly. So renunciation is the effect, not the cause. The cause is karma, bhakti and jnana yogas. Means acting in a spirit of service for a higher cause is karma yoga. Bhakti yoga is embracing a larger circle of people with your love. And jnana yoga is acutely understanding the difference between the permanent and the impermanent. What is permanent in life, what will never leave me, versus what is temporary, it will leave 100%. So, as you practice these three yogas, your desires reduce, your mind stabilizes, that restlessness of the mind goes away. It's like a child. Have you seen a child? It plays with a thing, gives it up, goes to something else, gives it up. So it runs to the mother for something, runs back. It's constantly restless. Asthira and chanchala. This asthira and chanchala mind becomes stable. And that is the state of renunciation. So, you can't practice renunciation. You practice the three yogas to get to renunciation. Is the result. Renunciation is the result. And then you reach a stage where you are excited about life itself. And your actions are full of energy and dynamism. You're exhilarated just doing your work on a daily basis, every day. How many of us are excited at work? Most of us, I'm sure you must have said, oh, thank God, today is a holiday. Huh? It's a tragedy that in our country we have so many holidays. You go to the United States, I think national holidays there are only 2 or 3, that's it. And 4th of July is one big holiday. And then Christmas. I don't know what the others are. But hardly any. Because their life revolves around action, work. We don't find pleasure in action. We have no value for work. We have value for holidays. What do you want to do? Sit home, chill. Then how can you achieve anything in that? So, Vashi means self-controlled, the self-controlled one. This is an absolute must even for worldly success. So you see the lifestyle in Western countries versus ours. Except for big cities like New York, the rest of the United States is dead after 9 p.m. You drive down the streets, there's nobody there. Why? Because people go home, have dinner at 6:30, they're fast asleep because they wake up early. 5:30 in the morning there's a traffic jam of people going to work everywhere. So they have that value for work. But they don't do it for a higher purpose, therefore they're stressed out. All the other negatives come. But they have an amazing work ethic. And when they go to work, the moment they go to the office, they start work. It's not like, hi, how are you? Let's have vada pav for breakfast and coffee and this, that and the other. So by the time you, first of all, you go to work late and then all this. So by the time you actually start work is like 11:30. Then 12 o'clock you have lunch. I'm hungry. So someone actually calculated the number of hours in the day that you are actually working is hardly half an hour, 1 hour. So that's what it is. Then he says, he uses the word dehi, means while living in the body. So Krishna throughout the Bhagavad Gita endorses the concept of Jivan Mukti, means you can be realized while living. You don't have to die to get to the state of realization. And then he says, rests happily. You know, this happiness is something we never seem to achieve. So here is a person who says he rests happily in the 9-gated city. 9-gated city means your body. Neither acting nor even causing to act. So when he says neither acting, who is not acting? Atman. Because he is defining a jnani. Nor causing to act. Then what is happening? Nature functions. Nature means vasanas. As long as there are vasanas, that manifestation from vasana to thought to desire to action will go on. But I am not doing anything, I am not acting. So that's a wonderful thing to have, that state of paripurna where you feel complete. If you even try, tell yourself, I don't need anything. I'm happy as I am. It's not a tamasic state. It's not that you don't have aspirations. It is at any given moment you are content with yourself. Then where does the motivation to do better come? The intellect visualizes a better state of being and pushes you to get there. That's how you act. And this better state of being is not material, please. It's not about having one more BMW or one Mercedes. It's not that. Better state means mentally, within you, there is a better state that I can strive for. But there is no pressure for pleasure. Otherwise, right now, internally, we are all pressurized. For what? Pleasure. Next verse.
And that means we have to control our nine senses.
9-gated city means the body. The body has 9 apertures. 5 eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, like
We
that.
have to control over all these things like seeing, taste, then we will be reaching Atman.
Yes. Self-control is very important.
So we have to control all those things like eyes, nose, seeing, touch and all.
You can't binge watch. You know, technology itself is promoting indulgence. Before all these things came on the net, you could not watch 3 movies in one shot. No? Impossible. And now you can watch 5 without getting up. That you can watch. There are people who watch, like in earlier days, in a serial, one would come every week on TV. You had to wait for one whole week to see the next serial. Now you can binge watch the whole thing. 24 episodes at one shot you're watching. Mind goes into decay. And that too if you're watching a thriller, murder, mystery, I don't know how people survive.
Madam, how that sage attained that Nitya stage? Nitya was that sage, no?
Durvasa.
So what was his way he achieved that Nitya?
Once your attention is on Brahman, so he was supposed to be an enlightened sage, but even if he's not, your attention is on getting to Brahman. You're not interested in food. You eat just enough to live so that you get to Brahman. We all.
But he was a voracious eater, no? There was some.
See, don't take all these examples literally. Yeah? Because all of them, see, it's like this. You want to convey something to your grandchild. How will you convey it? You'll exaggerate it a bit, no? This monster ate so much. What do you want to convey? Don't be greedy. So if you talk about a person who just ate 5 rotis instead of 3, the child doesn't get the message. You should talk about a person who ate so much that he couldn't even get up. Then the child gets, oh. So similarly, this example of Durvasa has been presented to us to make us understand that there is no limit to physical enjoyment. It's in the mind. He may have eaten a lot of food, but his mind was on Atman. You may eat, what is this called? Intermittent fasting. 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day. But your attention is on food all the time. Then you are not a self-controlled person. 14.
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगम् स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगम् स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते.
The Lord does not cause either doership or actions for the world, nor union with the fruit of action. Then what happens? Nature prompts it. It's put it so well. Swabhava, nature. Pravartate means functioning, is manifesting. So if you notice, the verse 13 uses the word dehi, means he is embodied. You can be in the body and still reach realization. 14 uses the word prabhu. So he is talking about Atman with reference to the individual. So the individual is still there. Atman. In verse 15, he breaks free from the individual and says, Vibhu means Brahman everywhere. It's like you see an ornament, let's say a bangle, a gold bangle, and you see gold there. Then you think gold appears in that form, in that particular shape, with this design, so on and so forth. And someone who's trying to explain gold to you says, no, it's not that. He melts the bangle and shows you that little piece, so many grams of gold that has come out of it, and says, this is gold, the material with which the bangle was made. Then wherever he goes, he is thinking, the bangle is the reference point in his mind for gold. So you have to smash that. And once that is smashed, you say, there is gold everywhere in the world. Only then does he understand gold. Similarly, the reference point for understanding Atman is the individual. So he starts, you have to go from what is known to the unknown. What is known to you? You, your body. So he says, Dehi. He lives in the body, but he is identified with spirit, Atman. In verse 14, he says, Prabhu, means that spirit within the individual, which is not the body, mind and intellect. So the person has got it, but the body, mind, intellect, the individual, personality is still the reference point. So in verse 15, he smashes that also. He says, Brahman is everywhere. Vibhu. Individual no longer relevant in the discussion. Very nicely put. So what does he say? Number one, there is no doership. As you develop spiritually, this feeling of I goes away. It is done. So when we talk of kartrutva bhavana, kritakritya and kritartha. Kritakritya means that which had to be done has been done. So there is no I in it. It's only that activity. And kritartha is a sense of fulfillment. Again, it has nothing to do with you. It's an experience. So no doership, because he is not identified with the individual, he is identified with the totality. No action. What causes action? Vasana. But the jnani is Atman, he is not vasana. So no action. It is vasana that causes action. And no union with the fruit of action. Means there is no dependence on the result, on the fruit. You are fulfilled in the performance of the action itself. Then what is happening? Nature manifests. Swabhava. And this understanding gives you immense peace. What will a dog do? It will bark. Why? That is its swabhava. What will a butterfly do? It will fly. That is its swabhava. Similarly, among human beings, why does a person do what he is doing? Swabhava. So then you have no comment, you have no complaint, nothing. You see a wonderful person do good acts, that's his nature. He's sattvic in nature, brilliant. You see a scum, a cheat, someone whose whole attention is on how to extract from others. Why is he what he is? Why is he the way he is? Swabhava. What else will you do? So when you gain this understanding, there is no comment. You have nothing to say. You are at peace with yourself. So you must try and cultivate this attitude. How? When you see, it's like, when you go to Western countries, it's very nice because everybody stands in line. There is a discipline. Everyone follows certain norms. Driving, whether it's driving or walking. Here is the law of the jungle. You drive whichever way you want, you walk whichever way you want, you do. There is no such thing as standing in a queue. And I've seen this breakdown in my own life. When I was young, going to school, we used to go by BST bus. But the rule then was only 8 standees, means only 8 people were allowed to stand. And there was a queue, proper queue. So no confusion, no screaming, shouting, nothing. Everything went peacefully. Now I can't even imagine what it must be like. Japan you go, their trains are also packed like ours. But there is discipline. People stand in a queue and get in. So when you are in Japan, you understand this is how life is there. When you come back here, you understand this is how life is. Why? Because that's the nature. Otherwise, you come here, you complain about this. You go to New York, you complain about something else there. You go to Singapore, you complain. There is no heart there. It's all very staccato. Then you must come to Bombay. You want things to happen. You want emotions, come to Bombay. Then don't complain. So that nature manifests. You're 100% objective. You enjoy every experience to the full, to the hilt. And then because your mind is calm, you succeed. Your thinking is sharp, your actions brilliant. You grow because you're looking inward. You don't suffer. If you're involved, you suffer. So, it's like, even when you watch a movie, you suffer. When we were young, most of the Bollywood movies were tragedies. And I had an older cousin. Most of what was happening, I didn't understand. I was too young. But my cousin, older cousin, would go, and in those days there were no tissues, there were handkerchiefs. So she would carry 3 and 4 handkerchiefs and go to a movie. And by the time that 10 minutes were up, she was crying. And she would cry right through the movie. So all the 4 handkerchiefs were wet by the time the movie was over. And then she would come out and say, when we went back home, she would tell her mothers, "Oh, brilliant movie, very nice movie. You must go watch it. I don't mind coming a second time." And I would sit there and think, "Arey, but she cried through the movie." That is it. You enjoy a tragic movie, you enjoy a horror film, you enjoy a comedy, you enjoy everything because you know you are apart from it. But you get involved with it to some extent, that's why the crying. Otherwise, see, if you're totally detached from it, you can't enjoy. You have to, do you know the secret of enjoying a movie is you have to suspend reality for a bit and buy into that concept that they are promoting. So you cry, you laugh, and when you come out, the movie has an impact on you. But if you were 100% like objective, I would say, so what? It's a movie. You don't really enjoy. You must, like a horror film, if you're watching every few minutes, you must jump out of your seat. Only then you enjoy. Think about it. Similarly in life, you laugh with people, you cry when sad things happen, you feel sad when somebody goes through a tragic experience, somebody else or even yourself. But right through it, there is that sense of objectivity where you don't suffer. Because you know that I am apart from all this. This is only a play going on, this is a movie going on in real life. And that is when you are truly spiritual. So practice that. Practice that little bit of distance. You must always keep yourself at a slight distance from what is happening around you. Then you don't go under. Okay, thank you.